What's up, you guys? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how stress and anxiety can actually be the biggest obstacles when you're trying to get to your goals. In our society, we have this weird paradigm or this idea that we've created that, you need to be stressed to be able to achieve certain levels of your success or your goals. And this is actually something that's very much deeply ingrained in us. I've noticed, because this is something that, my clients have come to me and, they say they want to get rid of anxiety and stress, but then they start to think about it. They're like, yeah, but what if I get rid of my anxiety and stress and I'm no longer motivated? I no longer care about achieving my success. I no longer care to take action. So it's interesting because I've noticed that we have this paradigm where we think we need the stress and anxiety to be able to achieve certain goals. So today I want to talk about how, stress and anxiety can actually be the thing that's getting in the way of your success, and certainly your fulfillment and joy, but also your, success and, you reaching your goals. So we'll be talking about that today. So let's talk about this first. What is stress and anxiety, and what kind of mindset does that put us in? So stress and anxiety, when you're feeling that, and I talk about this often with, hello, good to see you. I talk about this often with my clients. There's only two sets of mindsets that one can be in. One is limited scarcity survival mindset, and the other is creative, abundant, expansive mindset. There's only two sets of mindsets that one can typically be in. You can't actually be in both. You can't be in a stressed out, fear-based mindset as well as be creative. That's oftentimes not going to happen. So it's important to notice that there's two sets of mindsets. And let's talk about why that's so important. Because when you're in a stress, anxiety, and any of these other, emotional states, such as guilt, shame, pride, fear, anger, any of these, it's really based on the fact that it's being motivated, or, the foundation is fear. So that it's coming from a fear-based mindset. And why is this important to note? It's because when we are in a fear-based mindset, and mind you, being in a fear-based mindset isn't good or bad. We just get to, first of all, neutralize it. It's not good or bad. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you're not doing life right because you're in a fear-based mindset. But let's think about it logically. Well, first of all, we have this fear-based mechanism for a reason. The reason that this fear-based mechanism, even stress, is present and important for us is because there was a time in our life, and Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this often, there's a time in our life where this was highly adaptive. We actually needed this fear-based mechanism, this fight or flight mechanism, so that we can survive. We needed this because if there's a tiger chasing us, guess what? We get to reorganize all of our resources, reorganize all of our focus and energy into one thing, and that is survival. That is running away from the tiger as fast as possible. However, the problem is that in our society, there's several layers to this. In our society, we are living in a fear state, like fight or flight state, where it's not supposed to be chronic. So imagine if you're, being chased by a tiger and you activate this fear mechanism. It's actually helping you reorganize all your focus into one thing, which is surviving. So you run, and your cortisol level goes up, so you're actually able to run faster, your adrenaline's up, But here's the thing, if that were happening, first of all, your physical actual safety is threatened. So it is actually helpful that you reorganize all of your focus into one thing, which is running away. But here's the thing, you can't run forever. You can't run for days, hours, weeks at a time. Typically, if we are being chased by a tiger, it lasts maybe minutes, right? We're refocusing all of our energy to surviving for maybe a few minutes so that we can run away, and then our body is supposed to go back to balance. Our body is supposed to go back to homeostasis. But that does not happen in our lives. Because we are such intelligent creatures, we are able to activate that sympathetic system and the stress hormones and all of that, the fear, fight, flight, activation, even when there is nothing that's actually threatening our physical, physical safety. So, things like social stressors, like we think that being outcasted from, social situations, being rejected or, failing something and looking bad, looking stupid, like we think that this is equally bad for us as if we're being chased by a tiger. But the truth is, sure, it can be bad in our mind, in our social survival, but it's not actually threatening to our physical safety. And so one of the things that you guys can think about when you're experiencing a lot of stress is, well, first of all, this isn't supposed to be chronic. No creature is supposed to live in fight or flight all the time. It will eventually burn out. Imagine a car that's going 100 miles per hour for hours, days, weeks at a time and never stopping. It will burn out. It will burn out the engine. It will burn out the system, whatever. And we wonder why people, manifest into diseases when they live in fear-based state for a long time. They're chronically stressed and they wonder, why am I getting sick? Why am I getting these diseases? It's because we're not fundamentally supposed to be, operating at that level where that is our foundation. That shouldn't be our foundation. Our foundation gets to be a place where we are balanced. We are living in a relaxed state where we're not constantly feeling like we have to run away from something. But a lot of us are. And in that state, the problem is that it's not that you can't achieve success. You absolutely can. But the thing is, it's not going to be able to allow you to run for a long time. It's not going to allow you to run and not experience burnout. It's just not possible. Even people like Steve Jobs, who is obviously brilliant, who is obviously amazing, he burned out pretty early. And unfortunately, we lost him to cancer. And we hear about these kind of stories all the time. And that's because people aren't taking the importance of managing stress and anxiety and moving intentionally out of this fear-based state as much as possible. So, and there's a saying that a healthy man has many dreams, unhealthy man only has one, and that's to, be healthy again. And so without our health, there's nothing for us. There's nothing that we can achieve without our physical body, without our physical vessel that gets to create and that gets to build and do all these cool things. We can't do much. So by not taking stress management seriously, it can really start to affect how you show up, or if you show up at all for your business, for your work, for your loved ones, and it starts to affect every area of our lives. And number 2 is that when you're in a survival mindset, you literally cannot think of any new creative possibilities. A lot of times when we are faced with a challenge, when we're faced with a problem that we get to solve, it's so helpful to be able to think outside of the box. Even Yale medical students are, sometimes invited to take art classes. And obviously, art classes isn't going to help you when you're in the operating room doing a heart surgery directly. However, the reason that they invite these students to do this is because it helps them think creatively. It helps them think outside of a stressful, fight or flight zone. You do not want your doctor to be in a fight or flight mindset when they're trying to do surgery on you. You want them to think creatively. You want them to be able to think outside the box if something unexpected happens and keep calm and cool. So this is why they even invite the medical students to take classes like art classes, because it does open up their mind. And here's the thing, when you're running away from a tiger, you're not thinking about how you can build that next business. You're not thinking about, what kind of poetry do I want to write? You're not thinking about, what more dreams can I have, create in my life? What kind of content do I want to create? You're not thinking about these things. You're only thinking about survival. And to other people, you're going to look like you have tunnel vision, but not in a focused, excited, passionate way. It might seem disconnected. It might seem like, you're in your own world. and unable to connect to other people, and you probably experience that too on your end. So this is really, really important when you're thinking about how you can actually think outside the box. If you are looking to be creative in any way, and by the way, being creative is a huge component of anything that we get to do. And so, by stepping out of the stress or fight or flight mindset, you're able to step into something that allows you to actually think outside the box. And then the third thing, let's get a little bit woo. Yes, I am in Bali. As I'm in Bali and we're talking about a lot of things woo-woo and spiritual. And it's interesting too, because this time around, last time I was here, I felt very much connected to all the spiritual things. And then this time around, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've kind of created distance around this. Not too far, but in the last couple weeks, I intentionally really start to step into this again, which has been really fun. But anyways, this is kind of my foundational spiritual belief anyway. But when we're talking about anything about manifesting, I know some people have a really weird time accepting this, but manifesting really just means that you get to have the things that you want effortlessly. And when I say effortlessly, I don't mean don't take any actions. It means that the taking action part is actually somewhat enjoyable because you are actually pulled to that experience rather than you feeling like you're pushing, and it's this hard, disconnected experience. So when you're manifesting certain things, it's not helpful to be in fear-based mindset, because when you're in this stressed out zone, again, you can really only think about one thing, which is surviving. You can't think outside of, that one possibility. Whatever you think is the only right way to create that business, or to, attract clients, or to make an impact, or whatever it is. You get so stuck on that one idea, and then when that one thing doesn't go well, and this applies to any area of our lives, whether it's business, relationships, whatever. If that one thing doesn't go in the way that you want it to, it starts to create even more anxiety. It starts to create even more stress, right? And, from that point, it's hard to attract the things that you want, because the whole thing about attracting and manifesting is that you get to live in high vibration, meaning you get to live as if you're already having it, meaning you get to live in a joyful, peaceful state, as if, how would you feel if you already had that thing? So when you're in that stress out state, it's hard to access that energetic state where you get to feel good. And by the way, who doesn't actually want to feel good, right? In whatever it is that you are creating in your life. And here's the thing, when you're in survival mindset, I also noticed that certain things happen. It's harder for people to get excited about certain things. It's impossible, in my opinion. It's impossible to access gratitude when you're in a stressed out mode, or when you're in survival mode. It's hard to be grateful when you're angry at someone, right? But the moment that you surrender into gratitude, guess what? That anger dissipates. That stressed outness dissipates a little bit. So, and one of the biggest components of manifesting anything is accessing gratitude. So without being able to do that, you're blocking this whole realm of possibilities and blessings that you could be actually attracting into your life. So these are just some things I wanted to share. You'd like to feel good. And here's the thing, I talked about this with one of my clients today, and it was interesting because he came into the call kind of stressed out and wired, and oh my gosh, I'm stressed. I can hear even his breathing pattern. It was just very shallow. You could sense that he wasn't really connected. He was all over the place, not present. And we had to think about this. He's I'm stressed, and I think this is a justified reaction because this is going on, this is normal. I'm yes. It is normal. It means that you have a healthy sympathetic system that allows you to access this fight or flight mode because you're experiencing something that is potentially a threat to your well-being. I get that. And let's think about this. What is the positive intent of you holding onto this? There's a reason that you're holding onto this wiredness, this tiredness, this fear, this anxiety, in a way that like makes whatever we're experiencing feel validated. Like, I feel like I'm being wronged, I am right, and therefore I'm going to hold onto the stress, and by holding onto the stress, it makes me right, because I'm supposed to be stressed in a situation like this. They're doing me wrong, I feel wronged, and therefore I'm going to hold on to the stress, and our ego goes haywire. But then okay, so that's the positive intent of this stress staying around. But what is the cost of that? What is the cost of holding onto that stress and anxiety, say for the next however long they intend to, for the next 3 days? Okay, let's pretend that you're holding onto the stress and anxiety for the next 3 days. How will the next 3 days feel? Will it be easy for you to get productive and feel focused? Will it be easy for you to interact with your loved ones in a meaningful and beautiful ways? Will it be easy for you to attract new possibilities and opportunities? He said, probably not. I'll probably screw up, this talk. I'll screw up this relationship. I'll probably not be productive. I'll be stressed and I won't get anything done. I'll be angry. Okay. And there's nothing right or wrong about that either. That's okay. That's one way that your adventure in life can pan out for the next 3 days. Let's play into this other possibility where you decide that you've learned the positive intent, you learned the benefit of holding onto this, fear, anxiety for a moment, which is that you get to validate your own experience. And I was like, you know what? Your experience is validated. Are you willing to validate that experience? He said, yeah. Okay, cool. So now that intent was completed, you have an option. What if you were to live the next 3 days in a completely different vibration, different energetic state? What if you get to live the next 3 days without this stress and anxiety? What would that look like? Well, and then he started to tell me, like, well, I'd be relaxed. I would probably have more powerful conversations, meaningful conversations with people in my life, which will probably make my life better and easier. It would probably help me focus, because right now I can't focus because I'm so frustrated and wired and angry. So I would actually get these things done. I would probably be able to just be more chill. And I would probably be more pleasant to be around. I said, okay, cool. So that's one other way that this whole thing can pan out. And the whole thing is, neither are good or bad, right or wrong. We have a choice. It's just, how do you want to create the next 3 days? At the time, he was experiencing some problems with his home and remodeling and stuff. And it was something that fell out of his control. So, well, if it's truly out of his control and there's nothing he can do to make the thing better, there's only one thing left that he can have control over, to change the experience of how the next couple days get to go. And that's how he chooses to feel for the next couple days. When he got that, and sometimes because we're emotional, it's hard to access it from the logical mindset and truly assess the benefits and the non-benefits of it. When he was like, wait, it actually, and I said, I'm not trying to talk you out of feeling stressed. I'm not trying to talk you out of feeling wired. You can feel whatever you want. You're truly validated. You have that freedom. However, what do you want? Now, being clear of these two possibilities. What makes more logical sense? What will bring you more abundance? What will bring you more peace? Like, what makes logical sense for you to keep? And then when he was presented with those choices, he was like, oh, it actually makes no sense for me to be angry. It's actually serving nobody, including myself, actually mostly myself. So I share this because, oftentimes, for whatever reason, we do have this paradigm that we live in where we think holding on to that stress to a certain extent is actually helpful. And when we look at it, even from a logical standpoint or kind of a zoomed out standpoint, we start to realize it's not even helpful. We think that we need that adrenaline, we need that cortisol to push us forward, but that's not true. When we're clear of where we're headed and what our visions are, what our goals are, and we have specific goals, and we know what we're moving towards, that itself can be very activating, very motivating. And that's the difference between operating from a fear-based mindset and from a creative abundant mindset. When you're in a fear-based mindset, you're moving away from pain. You're moving away from the discomfort and the pain of feeling stressed and feeling the pain of anxiety or whatever. And all you can do, no matter what, if you're moving away from pain, is be pain-free. But you're not really intentionally creating anything productive from there. Meaning, if you're pulled by a vision, you can start to create because you want to amplify joy. You want to amplify pleasure. You want to amplify laughter. You want to amplify meaningful connections. You want to amplify love. You want to amplify and enrich your experiences. And that place gets to be really fun. This is why we see some people who are, potentially even financially, monetarily very well off, but they're in their survival mindset that no matter how much money they've made or how much money they have in the bank, they're not happy. We see this all the time. We've seen this in, Vici, I'm blanking right now, but so many celebrities out there who you think would be happy and they're not. It's because of this. It's because of these two mindsets. It doesn't matter what's actually real in the external physical world. If you don't feel abundant, if you don't feel joy, if you don't feel fulfilled, no matter what is going on in your life, you're not going to, you're simply just not going to be happy. And this is all about shifting our perspectives. It's all about shifting our mindset, how we get to view things. And this can have a profound shift in how we get to navigate through life and business. And actually bring in more success and have fun doing it and not be stressed out the whole time. There is a way to do this. So anyways, hi Sergio, hi Piers, good to see you. I'm seeing some of the names that I know here. Good to see. Hey Sunny, what's up? So anyways, I wanted to just share that with you. That's something that's come up in the last couple calls today. And I think it's really important to address because, I think some of y'all might know this. I have my personal story, so I'll make a whole different video on this. But this is a personal thing for me. The reason I started this path. And I'm so passionate about making sure that people know that they have options when it comes to creating certain experiences in their life towards their goals. And my genuine wish is that people get to live in a state where not only are they actually calm and happy and be able to experience joy, but live a long time. Like, I don't want nobody to be successful, but then they die early because they have a heart attack from stress or cancer or whatever, or mental health challenges. And then we lose someone who could have lived a long time and made even more impact, even more meaningful, changes in the world, and could have had more, experiences. We don't want that. We genuinely want these brilliant people to live long and create amazing things for a long time and be around and be an inspiration and all of those things. And that's why I believe this work is so important, to be able to learn that we have control over our feelings, our emotional states, and we can lead ourselves there if we want, especially if we're able to see it from a different perspective and tap into our logical perspective where we can say, actually, this is not helpful. This makes no sense for us to keep, so why keep it, right? Amazing. I'm so glad that it was helpful. I'm kind of curious what landed for you. And also, what questions do you have about stress management, or what are some things that have been stressing you out? And, what are some questions you have around this topic? I'm so curious to hear. So if you guys have anything that you'd like to share, feel free to message me separately, DM me. I would love to hear from you guys. I'll be doing more of these types of live streams. And I intend to actually go back to YouTube as well. If you guys haven't checked it out, I do have a YouTube channel. I intend to be more present there this year and share some of this, and any questions are welcomed. Yep, so again, I'm just kind of looking through this. Let me know if you have any questions right now. I'm probably going to end this very soon. But thank you for being here. For those of you who hopped on, if you're watching this as a replay, let me know. Feel free to message me. And other than that, I hope that was helpful. I hope you got something out of that and something that you can take away and start to shift how you get to think about how you get to manage your emotional states. Okay, so someone asked, how can I deal with the self-harm teenagers? Can you expand on that? I actually have had clients I've helped who have had self-harming behaviors that they completely stopped because we went through the whole same kind of logical thing where we realized there's more benefits than not. And when they really get that, like any habits people can ditch, I believe, because we are that powerful. And a lot of times it's just because we haven't fully gotten connected to the true pros and true cons of certain behaviors. So I'm kind of curious if you can expand on that. Maybe that is something that I can speak on. Because self-harm, by the way, comes in so many ways. It's not just like the typical, this person is self-harming. I know that for me, I self-harmed myself terribly for many years because I overworked myself, I overdrank myself, and there's so many different ways that we harm ourselves. So I overindulged in negative thinking. I talked to myself horribly. This is all self-harm as well. It's not just like, certain behaviors. She's 15 and have social anxiety. I think social anxiety is something that I might actually touch on. This is something that has been coming up a lot from people, and I didn't realize how many people experience this. And I think that's something that I can absolutely touch on. Or any kind of anxiety, it's the same mechanism at the end of the day. One thing I would suggest is really helping her see that her physical safety is actually intact. Our social, and of course, there's different ways that I can coach her through this. I don't know if this will land for her in the way that I just say it now, because obviously there's deeper things going on, especially when we're teenagers and thinking that it is a life or death situation to be and to feel accepted by our peers. And when we tap into this logically, we know that it's not. There's plenty. We don't have to please everyone. We don't have to be accepted by everyone except for ourselves. So, a boy asked to be his girlfriend, to be his choice to choose. Okay. Yeah, message me. I don't know exactly what the situation is, but anyways, I hope that was helpful, you guys. Sending you lots of love. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. And other than that, I'll see you later.